And it's been revealed now that after completing his UAE visit that begins tomorrow, on February the 14th, Prime Minister Modi will be travelling to Qatar on the same day. On the 14th of February in the afternoon, Prime Minister Modi, after UAE, will be visiting Qatar for a few hours. During that visit, he will be holding a bilateral meet with Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad, the Emir of Qatar, and other high dignitaries of the country, from where 8 Indian prisoners have just been released, thanks wholly to India's big diplomatic effort. Listen in to the Foreign Secretary announcing it today.
Honorable Prime Minister will travel to Doha, Qatar on 14th February afternoon. During the visit, Prime Minister will hold bilateral meetings with the Emir of Qatar, His Highness Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and other high dignitaries in Qatar. The bilateral relationship between India and Qatar that has been steadily growing includes a comprehensive span, including political ties, trade and investment linkages, our strong energy partnership. Prime Minister's visit to Qatar will provide an opportunity for the top leadership of the two countries to discuss ways to further deepen and strengthen our multifaceted partnership, as well as exchange views on different regional and international issues of mutual importance.
Let's go straight across now to India Today's Akshita Nandgopal joining us live from the United Arab Emirates, where she's tracking the Prime Minister's visit, which kicks off tomorrow. Gaurav, I want to come to you first, though. The Prime Minister will be spending a few hours in Qatar as well. You know, right after this huge diplomatic victory, what significance does this hold, in your opinion, Gaurav?
This is an extremely significant visit. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, since he took over as Prime Minister in 2014, has invested very heavily diplomatically in our relationship with the entire West Asian region. Extremely close to the leadership, whether it's in the UAE or in Saudi Arabia. And when you talk about UAE, his 7th visit to the United Arab Emirates. And this just goes on to show how deeply the leaders are invested in each other. His 8th interaction with the president of the United Arab Emirates, his second visit to Doha, Qatar since 2016, the meeting that secured the release of our 8 Indian Navy personnel. 7 are back home. The 8th hopefully would be back home soon. All of that goes on to show that there is a lot of relationship which is not just business to business, people to people. It's also very close at the level of our Foreign Office, our National Security Advisors, and at the level of the heads of government and state. Now, that is the key factor which helps make that extra push when push comes to shove, Shiv.
Very, very interesting. Akshita, you've landed in the Arab world on the day when India scored this huge diplomatic victory, you know, and also just a few days after Dr. S. Jaishankar had told India Today how our relations with the Arab world, are probably most paramount. It's something that the government and the Prime Minister takes very seriously. What's the buzz you're sensing right after where you are? The inauguration of the mandir over there, Akshita, the Prime Minister will actually be making a whistle stop in Qatar itself.
That's right, Shiv. Good evening to you and to all of our viewers. I'm joining you live from right outside the BAP Swaminarayan Mandir here in Abu Dhabi. And I think this is a standing testament to really what the Modi government's diplomacy here in the Middle East has been all about. Soon after he inaugurates this temple is when he's going to be making his way to Qatar. And that's a last-minute addition to his itinerary, essentially, because we did know that tomorrow, once he touches down here in the United Arab Emirates, he's going to be a part of a mega Indian diaspora event, a series of bilaterals, important meetings lined up. Day after, he'll be here at the temple and then making his way to Qatar. As you pointed out, he's going to be in a bilateral with the Emir of Qatar. So it's been that personal intervention, Shiv, that's really made that difference. For example, here also in Abu Dhabi, the fact that this temple reportedly has been constructed with personal intervention from the government, and the fact that Prime Minister Modi's made it a point to be here, as Gaurav pointed out. You know, the Prime Minister's been here 6 times before. His 7th visit visit this time is going to be one that's truly historic, with this temple behind me being also unveiled. The fact that you have the largest Hindu temple anywhere outside of India here in the United Arab Emirates, in the Arab world itself, speaks volumes of what the Modi government and what the Modi diplomacy plan is all about. They've put the focus several times on the Middle East, on kind of changing the narrative and ensuring India has great ties with the Middle East. They've succeeded with that with the UAE. They've succeeded with that with Qatar as well. And that's clearly an indicator based on what really has happened in the last 24 hours. Who would have thought, Shiv, in December 2023, when you had the Prime Minister meeting with the Amir of Qatar, you had weeks later the announcement coming that the death penalty was commuted. And even at that point, many of us were keeping our fingers crossed, not sure of how this would develop or what would happen. But for them to actually be released back home today is nothing short of a monumental achievement, and something that shows that the Prime Minister's focus on bettering relations here in the Middle East is actually working and transforming things.
Incredibly big news day that in many ways highlights everything that Akshita just said. India's relationship with the Arab world, the primacy of these relations, and how far the Modi government actually wants to take them. Akshita is going to be live from there in Abu Dhabi at 6 p.m. Don't miss her ground broadcast ahead of a very big temple inauguration by the Prime Minister himself tomorrow. Thanks very much, Akshita and Gaurav, for joining me on the latest on this story.